Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Generating Conversation. My name is Vikram Srikanti. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Aqueduct, and I have Joey Gonzalez here with me. Joey, do you want to say hi?
Hi, Vikram. Thanks for having me. Quick intro for everyone. I'm a professor at UC Berkeley, co-founder at Aqueduct. Been working in machine learning systems for over a decade. Very recently, been very excited about LLMs, as everyone else has been, doing some work on a project called Vicuna and LMSys to build models for the world.
So, something that has been very top of mind for many folks that we've spoken to is deciding to build or buy your own LLMs. Enterprises that we've spoken to are worried about data privacy, regulatory compliance and GDPR, IP ownership, and cost with using models like GPT. In fact, we've heard multiple enterprises ban the use of GPT altogether internally. How should we be thinking about this? Should we just fork over money to OpenAI, or should we be building our own LLMs?
Yeah, the short answer is you should fork over money to OpenAI. You should buy.
Come on, Joey. I think there have to be some cases in which people are going to build LLMs. Tell me more.
Yeah, of course there are. So there are a lot of settings where you might want to build an LLM, but before you even consider building an LLM, you should first consider fine-tuning an LLM. Either fine-tuning a commercial LLM or fine-tuning one of the open LLMs that we've been developing, and many others are developing.
Okay, interesting. What about the buy side? Why is buying the default answer?
Yeah, that's a great question. Maybe the easiest way to explain when to build your own LLM from scratch is maybe to draw an analogy to chips. Building an LLM is a lot like building a new chip. Very few companies in the world really need to build a new chip. Most can use an existing chip provided by another company, as is. Some might want to specialize that chip slightly, take like an ARM architecture and modify it for their specific device. And then that very few, the big cloud providers, the big technology companies might want a very specialized chip that they build from scratch to bring costs down, to optimize for their use case. And they can afford that massive upfront capital investment, and they can make use of that investment by amortizing that over the billions or millions of chips that they sell.
So, if this is going to be such a rare occurrence, if this is going to be Amazon and Google, that scale of company that's actually building an LLM, does that mean that the rest of us are going to use the same 2 or 3 LLMs moving forward?
Great question. Drawing back to our chip analogy, you probably use thousands of chips in a day and you don't even realize it. We have chips specialized to all sorts of tasks. You have big chips like your central processing unit on your computer that's one of these big architecture that manages a lot of things. But then every day you dial on your phone or you click a button on your watch, you're running all sorts of other chips that are specialized to specific tasks. And I think we'll see the same thing with LLMs, that there'll be specialized models for code completion, specialized models to help you type a little bit faster on your phone, that'll be lightweight, that are low power. And then there'll be really high-end models that are designed to coordinate specialized models to answer general questions. And you'll use a mix of all of these in your daily life.
How should we be thinking about the quality of the models that you get off the shelf versus the ones that you build?
Yeah. So the off-the-shelf models, the models served by the likes of OpenAI, they perform well on a broad range of tasks. So they're really good at general reasoning, and so it's going to be hard for you to build models that are competitive with that. And we've seen other organizations try, and they're just not there yet. So building these really high-end, fully general reasoning AIs is hard. On the other hand, building more specialized models for specific tasks becomes more reasonable. And so, again, we see a lot of success with fine tuning to get models that perform, comparatively to something like a ChatGPT, but only on a specialized domain. And that's where building your own or fine tuning often makes more sense.
Another common concern that we've heard from folks that we've been speaking with is around security, being able to trust OpenAI with all of your data. What are the security implications of buying an LLM, and how should enterprises be thinking about that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Security is a pretty compelling argument for owning the LLM stack. For example, you want to run it on your own cloud. There are many ways to get to that point. The simplest is to take something like an open source LLM, maybe fine tune it or use it as is on your private cloud. And there's a lot of excitement around models like DALL-E, V2, our work on Vicuna and others to make it so you can do that with your own infrastructure. But bear in mind that you still have the cost of serving and running that infrastructure. So, the model may be free to get, but to run it's still pretty expensive. But it does address the security concern. We're seeing, interesting stuff happening in Europe where GDPR is sort of incompatible fundamentally with these LLMs, and so again, you have this requirement to use maybe more specialized models that, meet the requirements, regulatory constraints of the region that you're in. That might be another reason to use a model rather than calling some external API. I'm optimistic that in the next year or so, all of the different cloud providers will take ways to support these really high-end commercial LLMs and put them inside of VPCs, inside of even enclave technologies to really address some of these security concerns.
It's also worth noting that from what we've been hearing in our own conversations, that for obvious reasons, Google and Microsoft and OpenAI are aware of many of these concerns. And even if things are looking not secure in May of 2023 when we're recording this, that's probably going to change over the next 6 to 12 months, and it's going to make these models applicable in a much wider variety of use cases as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, Joey.
Thank you.